The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was not live. Now I am live. Welcome, my Padawans, to Force Friday. The livest of the live, the liggity livest. If there was a live center to the universe, this is the place it is most livest from. Come, bring your comments. Maybe I can read them on this tiny screen with my robot eyes, or maybe my macular degeneration of the robot eyes will prevent it. Either way, we won't know until you come. There are many things going on in the galaxy. War, conflict, pestilence, climate change, gout. All these things have nothing to do with me. Why? Because I sit here, mostly in my meditation egg, and I meditate. So those things don't affect me. Now, where are your comments? Are we actually live? All right. Oh, there we go. One comment from Greg Pug. Tell us more about nurses. Okay, all right. I'll tell you about nurses. There are only two things in the galaxy that I love more than a nurse. Cotton candy and Squid Game. And I don't know what they have to do with each other. Probably very little, but everything has to do with nurses. Why? Without nurses, who will bring Vader coffee? Okay? Not the medical student. Apparently, they're too woke to bring Vader coffee. But the great thing about nurses is they're never too woke. All right? They do what needs to be done. If it involves taking care of a filthy, useless old doctor like myself, well, they will do it. Only to shut me up. Because they're about outcomes. All right? That's why they spend all that time updating the whiteboard, because we know the whiteboard has everything to do with outcomes. Like, if that thing isn't updated, oh my gosh, a crack may open in the center of the earth and an administrator may come out with his pants off. Nobody wants that. Notice I said his pants off, because no self-respecting female administrator would go pantsless. All right, that's a gender-specific phenomenon. By the way, I identify as Sith.Lord. Let's see. Thinking your advice on hospital readmissions to CHF patients is brilliant. Well, this is my advice. Don't go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and get a double down if your heart's EF is 15%. Because what is actually going to double down? Your aldosterone levels. And then what will happen? You will swell up like the Goodyear blimp. All right? You will look like Coruscant after a fireworks party. It's not pretty, people. And then you show up in the emergency department. I don't understand why I can't breathe. Well, so what have you been eating? Well, I had 3 or 4 KFC double downs, and I added extra salt because, they weren't salty enough, and a little extra oil because they weren't oily enough, and a little extra monkey brains because the monkey brains they served me weren't chilled. And now my legs are swollen and I can't breathe. And also, I have to sleep on 76 pillows. 76? Well, that's a new record of orthopnea. You have How do I write that in my note in Epic? Patient reports 76 pillow orthopnea. It keeps autocorrecting to 3 pillow orthopnea because it thinks it knows medicine. This is the worst part about autocorrect. We talk about AI. This autocorrect thinks it knows medicine. It's autocorrecting my clinical judgment. I said 76 pillow orthopnea, not 3 pillow. I know your little data bank says, well, but that's impossible. Well, you know what else was impossible? Bullseyeing a 2-meter target without a computer. But guess what? No more Death Star. You know what's possible. Anything. All right, let's say some comments here. What happened to my comments? They disappeared again. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, boy. Why am I talking like Lucille Ball trying to process chocolates in a factory? Oh, boy. Tell me about the guy on the 5th floor whose scrubs are too small. Oh, jeez. Listen, this is the thing with Phil. Get the scrubs that fit. All right? Because, listen, you're already, moderately to severely obese. That's fine, Phil, okay? It happens. Okay, we all occasionally dabble in the KFC double down. But what most of us do is we attempt, through forces of deep internal shame and unworthiness, to hide our body shape. Now, that's why scrubs are the greatest gift to medical professionals. Why? Because medical professionals are innately plagued with a sense of deep unworthiness, a primary childhood wound that says you'll never be good enough unless you help others incessantly and show off while doing it. And you're fat. You're just fat. Simple as that. So, what ends up happening? We go into medicine to try to prove that we're good enough. We overachieve and overachieve and overachieve. And then what happens? We get to wear scrubs. Why? Not because, oh, the fluids, we don't want to ruin our nice clothes because of the fluid. No, it's not that. Well, they're very comfortable. Well, yes, that's true, but it's not that, because we're used to discomfort. We went through all the school. We have to put up with administrators yelling at us all the time. Discomfort is like Tuesday for us. It's just another day. So it's not discomfort, all right? It's not blood and fluids and guts, because we don't care about our real clothes, because we shop at Ross. Okay, we get it for less. What is it? It's because they're loose and they hide our chubbiness. End of story. So you can walk around, you can have your gut, you can have your butt, you can have your hips, whatever is large and in charge. It doesn't hang out. It just is. And there's a billowy fabric that's mostly polyester that accommodates it. This is why we wear scrubs. Now, this brings me back to Phil on the 5th floor, 5 West. Why does Phil then violate the prime directive? He wears too tight scrubs. When these scrubs are too tight, oh good Lord, every aspect of the butt cheek cellulite, not just the butt crack, but the cellulite on the cheeks, and male cellulite is something. Usually happens on the buttocks, and I will tell you, loose scrubs are the answer, or thick jeans, not thin scrub tissue, so tight that each buttock, you can see it looks like the surface of Pluto when the probe flew by, just pockmarked with CO2 frozen erosions. Nobody wants that. And then he walks around with that, and it makes a noise when he walks, like whack, 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 whack. It's like, damn, bro, is that Phil? Can hear him from a mile away. Oh God, the butt. Like, the gut is one thing. We're used to seeing guys' guts. That's no big deal. Just go to any football game, or just go to anybody watching a football game. But man, Phil, loosen the scrubs up, bro. Speaking of which, Super Bowl is coming up. It's going to be a big deal. A lot of constipation. Figs for the win, says Tanya. No. Figs are too expensive. I don't want to see Phil's taint, says Joanne. I know, nobody does. That's the thing, because when he sits down and he manspreads, because he always does, that, it's an RT thing. Male RTs, they always manspread. We know it. We've seen it. They sit, they're like, having their coffee, and they're just the legs, and then you just see taint. And taint is not supposed to be visible to the naked eye. That's the thing, especially when you're not naked. Sean says, I would like Doc Vader to offer an overview of the differences, the different specialties, ortho versus neuro, derm versus radiology, etc. Well, that is well out of the scope of a live, but I will tell you. First of all, I'll just say this, okay? Who do you think I am? Dr. Glaucoma Flackelung? Okay, that guy sucks. If I wanted to be famous, this is what I would do. Oh, I'm ortho. Oh, I'm psych. Oh, we're different, aren't we? Oh, everybody already knows what I'm saying. That's why it's funny. Oh, yes, it's true. Also, it's just like a high school drama class. Oh, wait. Oh, did I just talk shit about? Never mind. What can I say? No, I'm not going to talk about ortho versus neuro or psych. I'm angry. I hate all of them. What can I say that's funny about that except for I'll kill them all to death? Hospital medicine, that's where it's at. Let's take a look here. Glaucoma Flecken. if that is your real name. Why is it that mostly guys wear tight scrubs? Vicky, here's the deal. Let's be honest, all right? As someone who hates sand, I've been through all of it, okay? I know how men think, okay? Like when I was talking to Padme and I was like, you know what? The sand hurts my buttocks. It gets in all the little mucosal folds. Once I got a piece of sand in my urethra and I didn't realize it, and a decade later there was a pearl, like an oyster. It was a defense against the itch, the abrasion of the sand. So I know men, all right, and I'll tell you, the reason they wear tight scrubs is they think they're ripped. So somebody at some point told them, you shouldn't wear all those baggy clothes. Don't hide who you are. Show them what you got. And that's why. So then they just, and some guys are just big. The scrubs don't get big enough. That's okay. That's all right. No problem there. I ain't mad at you. Okay? Tupac. Let's take a look. Dr. G rocks. Are we talking about Glockenflapplagung? Let's see. Any plans for Scottish clones in kilts? Ooh, I like that. Scottish clones in kilts. The great thing about the Scottish stormtroopers, the Scott troopers, ooh, I like this, is when they murder a bunch of innocents, they can immediately do the funeral right there with incredible respect, because they immediately pull out their laser bagpipes and start it going. It's something like, let me see if I can do this. And they can give a speech, of all the beings I've murdered in my travels, he was the most human. Yes. Anyways, moving on from the Scott troopers. Let's see, where are we at here in the comment section, which is just simply impossible to see. Here we go. Been married to 2 docs, both in heaven. Family has been betting pool for I think I need a psychiatrist. Okay, I think I need glasses to read your comment. I'm sorry about your heavenly exes, but listen, all MDs go to heaven. Okay, DOs, they go straight to hell. Everybody knows this. MD up, DO down. Said no Vader ever. Any love for our Detroit Lions? Sean Drake. Oh, it's Dr. Drake. Oh, and mother flippers act like they forgot about Drake. Yeah, plenty of love, Detroit. Absolutely. Absolutely. If there's a bright center to the universe, Detroit is the place it is definitely farthest from. It is cold, all right? And the lions, they roar in the frigid temperatures. Across the Midwest plains, across Lake Titicaca. Is that one of the Great Lakes? Titicaca? Yes. Let's take a look here. Do anesthesiologists have a superiority complex, or is it just a vicious humor, Claire? Well, most of the time, they're huffing sevoflurane. So any kind of complex they have is based on a substance-related issue here. Now, many of them are introverts. Many of them are powerful with the dark side. And beyond that, if you're passing gas for a living and it's 10% panic and 90% boredom, hell yeah, you're going to have a superiority. I mean, that's the perfect life. I'd be feeling superior too. I feel superior and I have no business feeling superior. All right? I'm just a, lowly hospitalist. I'm no ophthalmologist like Glockenflackenflacken. Let's see. Does Doc Vader meditate? Well, let's just say I have an egg where I sit. I call it my meditation egg, and I summon Padme's ghost. And let's just say we have a force-based conjugal visit, and I call that meditation. Tanya, can you send a colleague cover to the veterinary. Can you send a colleague cover to the veterinary side? So you need somebody to cover for like cat dental extractions or something? Because I got you, dog. All right. No, literally, dog. I got you. I like vets. You know, they served in Vietnam. Vicky says, I remember when we had to wear dresses with white hosiery. Talk about noisy thighs. Noisy thighs and crooked caps. Very professional. Oh, don't remind me, Vicky, of the good old days when nurses dressed in white had the cute little things and the little lacy bits, and they would go whick, 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 whick when they walked, and they'd bring you the coffee and the chart. Now they just bring you to HR and say, you can't do that, Vader. It's not okay to misgender a female nurse whose pronouns are her and hers. You can't call him him, and you can't call it yo, and you can't call it it. HR is not my friend. Let's see. Drew says, is there cancer in space? Seems like there's a lot of it, natural radiation. How's that breakdown across the empire? Well, this is something they don't talk about. It's the dirty secret. None of these vessels that we fly around in are radiation shielded. But if you think about it, every single one of those lights you see in space that they call stars is a nuclear furnace. So when you go into space and you don't have the benefit of an atmosphere to protect you from these particles, radiation particles, whether it's cosmic rays, standard X-rays, alpha particles, beta particles, zeta particles, Catherine Zeta-Jones particles, sexy, all right? Well, what happens? Radiation. And then what? Space cancer. Now, space cancer is very different, okay? Space cancer almost always only affects the testicles. And just one testicle. It's very strange. It's the left testicle. Now, you may say, well, what if I only have one testicle and it's the right? Well, then you're safe from space cancer. And you may say, well, what if I'm a woman? Well, then you're safe. It's not rocket science, people. It's space cancer. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Okay, how do you relax, and is vaping really that bad, says Joe. Okay, these are two separate questions, but really it's one question, because I relax by vaping. Now, I've said before, not a big fan of it, but I can't live without it. I used to be a smoker, all right? I used to smoke blue cigarettes on Tatooine. And then I got left testicular cancer. Now, was it unrelated? Probably from space, but it probably wasn't helped by smoking. Nothing is, except for the old noggin. I tell you, nothing like smoking a couple of cigarettes before a test. Boom, 100% Vader, every time. Anatomy, physiology? Hell yeah, 100%. But vaping, not as good. Doesn't have the same stimulatory effect. There's something about the 13 herbs and spices in a natural cigarette. Okay, Philip Morris knew this. They just never made it public. But they know cigarettes is way superior to vaping. Why would you want to vape when there's the delicious, cool taste of a menthol? Come on, people. I wear this mask for a reason. I done effed up. Let's take a look. They bring you the cigarettes to smoke at the nurse's station. Now that, Ms. Dubois, is my type of nurse's station. The old way, the old system, the old republic. Let's see. Rads to the nads, Sean Drake. That's what it is. You got to put lead on your head if you catch my meaning. What were your survival odds on Mustafar, Nikki? Well, listen, I had the high ground. Okay? Actually, Obi-Wan had the high ground. But I get very confused. So I guess my odds were dependent on whether I had the high ground or whether Obi-Wan had the high. Let's just say I done effed up. Let's see now. Vicky says, why can't I see? Sometimes I miss the good old days. I don't miss accidentally leaving the glass thermometer in someone's butt and having to go back to retrieve it. Yes, glass thermometers. And then when they shatter, nothing like mercury right in the anus. You know? Ooh. Ooh, that's not even a fetish on Japanese porn sites. That's just straight up no. That's a big X. Where's Doc Vader's opinion on operating room nurses and their role? Their role is for target practice for the surgeons to throw scalpels at. What else? What else would they be there for? Let's see. This is not true. We all know that secretly every single OR nurse is a Sith Lord. They're just biding their time. And at some point, Order 66 will happen and all the surgeons, will get it shot in the back. And the OR nurses will do what they were trained to do, which is destroy the galaxy with extreme prejudice. Let's take a look. Vader, hello there. Richmond, Virginia, RN, class of 85. Totally irrelevant information, by the way. Still working ED. We need your dark humor here to take the spotlight off mine. Oh, I'm afraid your dark humor is already unfunny enough, sir. Or ma'am. I didn't see the name, or if I did, I've forgotten it. You know why? Old-timer's disease. Thank you. Every time I see ED, I think erectile dysfunction. Is that strange? Because for me, it's the ER. It's not a department, still. Okay, when I was training, it was a little room that you went in and people were bleeding in, and there was vomitus. That was the emergency room. Now it's a whole department. Why? Just because inflation. It's just space inflation. Just like space cancer. Incurable. I love you and play you at my nursing home. Whoa. Whoa, everybody back down now. Okay, first of all, am I even in focus? Here we are. There it is. You're playing Vader at a nursing home. Okay, are you trying to open up some beds through death? Because when an older person with cognitive difficulties sees Vader, okay, first of all, it's like staring directly into the sun. So much darkness that they can't take it. They're relatively atrophied, age-appropriate atrophied brains cannot take it, and they explode. So I'm just telling you, all right, Medicare has codified this in a rule that will be coming out soon. Do not play Vader in the nursing home. Unless you want more beds. Unless you want throughput. Unless you want closure. Well then, play Vader in the nursing home all day, every day, bro. All day, every day. Let's see where we at. Vader, love your humor, says Denise. I've never been on this kind of live before. Excuse the ancient in me. Oh, I don't excuse it. I embrace it. Ancient. Like when I think of ancient, I think of my idol, my own personal hero, Mum-Ra from the Thundercats. He would summon the ancient spirits of evil, and together they would battle those pesky Thundercats. Mum-Ra, the ever-living. All right? Ancient indeed. Dee Dee says, what's your favorite thing about being a doctor? How much time you got? No time? That's perfect, because I got no answer. There's nothing. None of it is good. Money? Not good enough for the loan ratio and the amount of work. Prestige? Gone. Okay? Gone. I was replaced by a computer. And it said 3-pillow orthopnea when it was 76-pillow orthopnea. It's not even sexy anymore. Like, no women want to be with doctors. They all want to be with tech billionaires. Like, oh, if I'm going to choose between Vader and Elon Musk, even though Elon Musk looks like a bantha, I want to be with him. So the answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, would I do it again? Absolutely. Why? Because I'm full of unworthiness and shame, and it was the only thing that gave me a sense that I could outrun my own demons. Well, you know what? The demons always win, bro. Always. Then you're sitting on a porch vaping because you can't afford cigarettes. It's just a mess. Let's see. Electronic medical record or paper charting? Neither, Maggie, neither. I think we should go back to the days of the Greeks, where the physician would be like, heal thyself, and walk off, and get paid in chickens, or perhaps drachmas. whatever it is the Greeks were smoking in those days. Speaking of ancient spirits of evil, doesn't Zeus remind you of Mum-Ra a little bit? Just a touch. Just a touch. Let's see. Honestly, though, I like paper. Why? Because my handwriting's crap, no one can read it, and I can't be sued because I'll be like, well, I said that I told the patient, but this just looks like rubbish. Oh, you just look like rubbish, Mr. Lawyer Man. Mr. I'm going to prosecute Doc Vader because he made a mistake and killed a bunch of people. Listen, you. Okay? Grow up. Put your big boy panties on. Go back and watch some more episodes of L.A. Law, or maybe some Moonlighting. You know, a young Bruce Willis. Sybil Shepherd. Why not? Does Doc Vader have a medical scribe opinions on scribes running after PAs and MDs in the hospital? Scribes remind me, I have a droid scribe. I call him Mr. Pickles. And Mr. Pickles follows me around going bleep, blop, bloop, and I will talk to the patient, and Mr. Pickles will be like bleep, blop, bloop, and out of his little face will come a printout of the note. And it still says 3 pillow orthopnea when it was 76 pillow orthopnea, all right? So, scribes, get your ish together. Vader said what he means. Don't try to sugarcoat it, all right? I put it there for a reason. I said anal probe. That's what I said. Let's see. That's right, Krista. Mum-Ra is awesome. Now, every time I move, I bet I'm going out of focus, aren't I? Let me see. I can't see so well. Pull this focus cue over here. There we go. All right. What can you do, you know? I have to be tech support. I'm the only one in this facility. This entire battle station is just Vader. Vader's like, I'll do a live transmission. Okay, let's see. I need my mouse hand. Well, my robot hand isn't very good with a mouse, but this hand will be free to fisticulate. Is that the term? Fisticulate? I'm going to fisticulate. And then I have to read comments. I have to run all this, do this, make sure the audio's working, and make sure I'm in focus. Well, you know what? There's only one of me, people. And there's so many of you. Can't you come and help? Just give a brother a hand. Just a small hand. You know, Luke gave me a hand. Did you see what I did there? It was a cut off your son's hand joke. You know, very common dad joke. Mum-Ra versus Skeletor. Who's going to win the epic battle? Ooh, Dee, what a good question. Now we're getting into the questions I like. Mum-Ra had ancient magical powers from Third Earth, where he has been for thousands of years in a pyramid. He calls on the ancient spirits, and he turns from a shriveled little thing into Mum-Ra, the ever-living. Now you're telling me that Skeletor, who was ripped, he had a lot of muscles, he had a six-pack, and he had a skull with no skin on it, hence Skeletor. But what's strange is, he's not a skeleton, is he? He has plenty of meat on his bones. He's quite ripped. I believe I began by saying, Skeletor, very ripped. So the only part of him that was skeletal was his face. So they should have called him Skullhead, or Scullius, or Skeleton Face, or 10% Skeletor, instead of Skeletor, because Skeletor is it's misadvertising. Now, Mum-Ra, perfect. The name says it all. He's a mummy, yes. He's also a god, Ra, the sun god. Mum-Ra, ancient spirit of evil. Who's going to win? You tell me. Come on. Scully Boy with muscles, or an ancient paranormal ghost mummy? Okay? Quite simple. My bingo card has Padme, Bantha, Mustafar, and Taint. I need Force Choke for the win, Emil. You know, that almost made me giggle. I will Force Choke you. You win bingo, or should I say Bantha-O. Very good, very good, very good. Reese's Cups or Malloy Cups, J. Neither. Honestly, both are disgustipating. And the reason is that my pancreas doesn't do good with the candies. So anytime I eat a Reese's cup, my pancreas starts to hurt. And then I get chronic pancreatitis. And I don't want that. And the mallow thing, let's just stop. All right? Let's just stop there. Ohio is having issues, says Richard, procuring the proper meds for lethal injection. Apparently, pharma doesn't want their drugs used to kill people. How does the empire deal with capital punishment? Well, this is the thing, but pharma, because when you kill the patient outright, pharma loses money. Because either they get sued or there's no repeat business, right? So lethal injection, it's like a one-time dose. It's just not very helpful. It's curative. Oh, yeah, what was the condition? Life. What's the plan? End the life. What's the mechanism? Our drug. Okay, so what pharma needs to do is charge $10 billion for that one dose, like they do for hepatitis treatment. You know? These sort of single dose, like curative or very short things, they should do that for lethal injection. Now, the way I deal with capital punishment is I just go straight to the lightsaber. You know, because I can do it quick, clean, none of this like nitrogen gas nonsense. Like why? I love that humans, the government wants to kill you. Okay, now it makes me vaguely uncomfortable as a dark side libertarian, but let's just say it's a good idea. Let's operate on the principle that, okay, society wants to do this. You don't think after how many thousands of years of being human, we could figure out a way to kill somebody quick and painless? And instead we're like, well, okay, how about this, guys? They all sit around a table and they're like, okay, come on. We need a good lethal execution. It needs to be exotic enough that people are afraid of it, but not exotic enough that it constitutes cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, how about this? Hear me out, guys. I'm just spitballing here. But this atmosphere is 70-some% nitrogen. What if we made it 100% nitrogen? What would happen? Guys, Bob, what do you think would happen? Bob, your scrubs are way too tight. They're way too tight. Listen, I don't mean to call you out in the meeting, but those are way too tight. Okay, next time, loosen them up. Do I need to tell you what scrubs are really for? Okay, good. Okay, anyways, Bob, that's right. 100% nitrogen, you're going to choke to death. That's an outcome we could live with, right? So let's try a nitrogen execution. Who's with me, guys? Guys, all right? We all agreed? All right. We're going to Chevy's. After this, we're going to celebrate. We're going to get a plato gordo. We're going to get some tortillas from El Machina and unlimited salsa. That's how it goes. Now, let's see here. How do you suggest I deal with homeless schizophrenic on meth with homicidal ideation? Oh, you mean basically Han Solo? Basically Chewbacca? I mean, they were the same. How did I deal with them? I tried to murder them to death. I failed. I'll just put that out there. I'm not saying you should murder anyone to death, but I think sometimes we must have, I hate to use this word because it hurts, compassion. And understand that they can't be other than they are, and they have their own kind of suffering. And because they are so, they're hurting so much, all right? They're hurting so much, and you should know that. And when you know that, it should bring you a deep joy to know that they are suffering for inflicting their misery on you. And so that they are in tremendous pain should bring you joy. So have some self-compassion. That's what I'm saying. Let's take a look here. Doc Vader, what do you think about Musk putting a device in the brain and applying AI? Oh, Vicky, you mean this Neuralink thing? Well, I understand that they tried it on some monkeys, and the monkeys did not like it. So it'll be fun to see. I think maybe they might have tried it on, some people I know. That I would definitely volunteer some people for the trial. And the AI, I'll tell you, there's some people I know, it's not about artificial intelligence. They just need plain old eye. Just plain old intelligence. Just give them that. it's hard to do it artificially. It has an aftertaste. It tastes like saccharin or sucralose or, aspartame. Let's take a look here. Neuralink. Boy, oh boy. Let's see. It's so easy to tame doctors and nurses nowadays. Chocolates or any food will do. Carlos Lupis. This is true. A pizza party by administrators that have been sucking you dry is enough. All is forgiven. Oh man, these pepperonis, so greasy. My favorite. Let's see, where are we at? Thoughts on CNAs and what they do, Doc Vader. I'll tell you, I don't know what they do. Are they certified nougat assistants? Because I need assistance with my nougat. No, the CNAs, we need them. Every nurse knows you've got to have that good CNA. Otherwise, everything goes south. Do they get love? Never. Do patients show them respect? Occasionally, but often not. Do doctors know what they do? Hell no. So, revel in it. Oh man, nobody knows what I do. I guess I'm doing a good job. Because the minute they know what you do, oh boy, they want you to do more of it. It's best to keep a low profile, CNAs. That's what I'm saying. Stick with the nougat and stick with being certified. I'm serving a subpoena at Cleveland Clinic, Western Florida. How does Darth do in a deposition? Frank. Ooh, Frank, serving I'd love to be a fly, a droid on the wall, a little Imperial probe, just bam, 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 watching you serve. Hi, are you Dr. So-and-so? I'm such a big fan. Anyways, you've been served, dog. Yeah, I don't do great in depositions, according to my lawyers. They say, basically, Darth, you want to say as little as possible, stick to the facts, and whatever you do, don't lie under oath. And the first thing I say is I recite my entire life history, all of it lies. And then I answer the question by lying. So it's not an ideal. Is it an ideal scenario? No, it's not. No. Depositions and me are not an ideal scenario. But do I love them? Of course. It's so much fun. Let's see. Serve me right now, please. It's Groundhog Day. Do you like groundhogs? I like them in pie. I like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, although I've never seen the movie. I like Bill Murray in Scrooged, although I saw it as a child and I tried to watch it as an adult and it was terrible. Groundhogs. Let's see. What's a good torture method for enemies? Jay Hampton. Force them to chart on 20 patients in Epic using the provided templates. They will be crying for their mothers. Jar Jar will be crying for his mother. Oh, me that want me mother. I don't know what that was, but it sounded vaguely offensive. Let's see. Where are we at now? How many people are 120 Padawans watching this? Goodness me. Silliness. I need some more comments, otherwise I'm just going to basically crawl in a hole and die. Let's see. Holly says, LOL, Mr. Pickles. That's awesome. I wish I could have had a scribe. I hated writing reports on paper or electric. Well, that's why you need the droid. The droid that's trying to get into medical school becomes a scribe. It's like, I will become a doctor. First, I will become a scribe. Then they spend about a few months in the hospital and they're like, I'm going into investment banking. This shit sucks. That's how it is. That's how the droid actually is that it's actually intelligent. Thoughts on hospital at home? Sean Drake. Excellent question, Dr. Drake. Oh, I'm afraid this home hospital will be quite operational when your patients arrive. I like hospitals at home because they're at home and I'm not there. I'm in the hospital. So now the patient is not my problem, even though they are technically, because I have to still, you know how it is. Okay? You know how it is. I think it's interesting. I think home is where the dark side is. And we should keep it as dark as possible. Let's see. So true, all you say, Teresa. It's hard working in the medical field nowadays. This is the one truth that we cannot lie about. It sucks to be us. So let's enjoy it. Do any hospitals still have orderlies? Oh man, aunt, orderlies. Do you remember when the Fat Boys did a movie called The Disorderlies and they were in a hospital? Yes. Now they would have been called the adiposely challenged boys. You can't say fat because it's shaming. And you're not respecting the Fat Boys' pronouns, which were O/B's. Tanya says, do you wish your grandson Kylo would have followed your footsteps in the medical field? Well, he did, but he didn't quite follow perfectly because he became Kylo RN. And I'm Doc Vader MD. And so we had a little disagreement because he said, I like the nursing model. Okay, it's more empathic. I spend time with the patients. I'm at the bedside. I like that. And I said, Kylo, you are pure evil. Like, if there's any good left in you, it's like in your taint. Which is effectively invisible unless you wear Phil's tight scrubs. So why do you want to do nursing? Like, if you want to be dark side, join the helmet, all right? Doctor's the way to go. He never listens, though. He never listens. And now he's dead. Would you have a machine keep you alive, Noriega? I wonder, Noriega, if you see the irony here. This was foisted on me. I was DNR. The Emperor resuscitated me anyways, and now look. I'm more machine than man, twisted and evil. Okay, if they would have respected my wish, or better yet, if I had expressed my wishes, which were, hey, let me see. How do I write this in a living will? How do I put this in a post? How do I put this in a code status? If I am ever on Mustafar, fighting a Jedi Master, who was formerly my teacher, and both of my legs and one of my arms are amputated, and I light on fire, please let me die there. That's what I should have written. It's a very specific instance, but I have the clarity of the foresight of the Force. I could have seen it. I did foresee it. And yet, then the Emperor assumed I was full code, put me on life support. Now, here I am. Again, on my own. Just like the song. I was born to walk alone. Have you learnt the truth behind Darth Plagueis the Wise, or are you cancer-free? And are you cancer-free since the fires of Mustafar removed the cancerous testy, Nikki? Very good question. Both of my nuts were incinerated, fairly slowly. So it was almost like burning a candle. Like it started with the little pube on the end of the sack, and it just burned down, and then the sack lit on fire, and then one testy and the other testy in sequence. Was the epididymis spared? No. Was the gubernaculum intact? No. So there's just scar tissue now where the nuts used to be. Now this is good because as we established, space cancer is not to be effed with. And I was well on my way being in space so much. So in a sense, I was saved that day on Mustafar. In another sense, I was cursed to a life of suffering. So it's really about perspective, people. Let's see. What's your specialty, Vader, aside from force-choking difficult Jabbas? Carlos, listen, I consider myself pan-specialty. This week I identify as a hospitalist. I've identified as a surgeon, a gynecologist, a dermatologist, a psychiatrist, and I've also identified as Dr. Glockenflecken at times. So it just depends on my mood. Depends on my mood. Let's see. What do you think of these 12-hour shifts for nurses? It's ending up being 16 hours every time because of the short staff. Krista. Well, here's the thing. What would happen if Nurses stopped just caring about people and only cared about themselves for a second, just for a second, and just refused. Well, the whole thing would grind to a halt. The administrators would have to hire all kinds of people, and then the problem would be solved. So I highly suggest that. Not a strike. Just talk to talk to the men and ladies that you work with and be like, listen, guys and gals and non-binary pals, this is what we need. No more of this 16-hour shift, all right? We're all just going to walk out. Tomorrow there's going to be no one here. Sure, some people will die, but it's worth it because the cause is just, and I haven't peed for a month. So let's do this. That's what I'm saying. Am I right, people? Ativan or Special K for difficult customers, Lane? Well, I like to mix and match. Add a K. It's a mixture of Ativan and ketamine. And it throws them into the K hole, but they don't remember it because of the Ativan. It's like really beautiful. Where are we? Where are we? Urgent, convenient cares. Why aren't these attached to EDs on route non-ED level patients? Ooh, that's a great question. An integrated system. But how will the emperor maintain control without the completely fragmented non-system that we have? The answer is he cannot. Therefore, it does not happen, even though it is the way. I can't believe I just quoted The Mandalorian. Let's see. Where are we at? I think we've done a thing here. My helmet is starting to hurt. Anthony says, in the snack skit, why didn't you use the force to drop the snack? Okay, Anthony, listen. You're talking about when I was in the physician lounge and I couldn't get my snack out. Everybody knows you cannot use the force within hospital perimeter. They put an anti-force field up within the hospital. Don't you think, I'm so angry right now. I just need a second. Don't you think if Vader could use the force in the hospital, he wouldn't have destroyed everything within a 500-meter radius in every hospital he's ever worked? Don't you think that would have happened? Oh, just use the force to get the candy out of the machine that was stuck. Are you crazy? Do you not understand the rules? There are rules, Anthony. There are rules. You don't just say, oh, use the force in the hospital. Are you nuts? Listen, I'm starting to hyperventilate. Every surgery that I've done would have been a forced surgery. And it would have ended with 100% mortality, which is the outcome measure that matters to me. Okay? All right, people. I am tired of all of you. You've made me so upset, and I love you so much. Every last one of you. Even you, Anthony, for your insolence and your lack of rule following. I'll take one more comment. Let's see. Jules says, as a med student, okay, I don't talk to med students. This conversation's over. But I'll make an exception, even though I follow the rules. As a med student, I scrubbed a diabetic foot debridement, 3 a.m. Everyone kind of delirious. I like how you're telling the story. It's very riveting. I'm going to read it as if I'm riveted, even though I couldn't give two craps about your dumb med student story. All right, here we go. As a med student, I scrubbed a diabetic foot debridement, 3 a.m. Everyone's kind of delirious. It's me and a couple of junior residents. The senior resident struts in, picks up a pair of pickups, plucks off a toe. Without missing a beat, he says, "This little piggy's going to pathology." I almost fell on the floor. You know what? That's pretty good. I will say you are a good med student because you tell a good med student story. Some med students are like, oh, this one time. Shut up. Shut up, Phyllis. Okay? You're a boring medical student. You were boring as a pre-med. You were boring in college. You were boring in high school. You're boring now. You're going to be a really boring doctor, probably an internist, possibly an ophthalmologist. They are the most boring. But I'm just telling you this, all right? That's a good story. All right, Jules, you've sent us out. You will get any residency you want. You just put Vader on your application, say Vader approves, and you will get what you want, which will be Buffalo, Wyoming. All right, I love you people, and I hate you at the same time. We are out. No!